Hi, this is Mysterious Mystery, and this is my review of Impossible Stars and Star Blades. First off, Impossible Stars, since I got that sooner. Now, this is written by Richard Meyer, Dixon, and Rodriguez, and from Splatto Comics. Now, this comic, I actually really enjoyed it. The art style throughout was very solid. The characterization was pretty good. Like, we have this bit up here. This happens in I think like 7 years in the past before the main plot. And, like, there's an incident, like, this guy and his girlfriend is, like, trying to kiss and, like, But then they, like, do the thing 5 years later, and it's like, boom. This is the attack that sets it all off. Aftermath. And this is, like, this guy here. He's, one of the main characters. In the beginning of the book, like, yeah, here it is. He's talking to his daughter and saying that, well, he's going out in space and she wants to go with him. And he says, "Well, I'll show you all the stars." And he's like, and she's like, "You promise?" "I promise." But, she dies. So, at least it's implied she dies. She just might be in the hospital by the end of it, but I'm not sure. Alright, so, they're pretty much getting their entire, like, part of their organization scrapped, and they're going to have to just be monitoring their system. They can't leave. So, this lady here, this Indian-looking lady, she's like, says like, "Listen, we have to just follow orders and just sit this one out." And pretty much these three, this guy, this chick, and main guy here, they mutiny, and they like pretty much throw her out, and they realize, wait, she didn't have clearance access to even open that door, and so now they're like, pretty much, racing to get out of that base, and they launch at full thrust inside the base, which causes a chain reaction. And at first I was like, oh wow, did that destroy it? Did I just kill the people in that base? And I was like, oh wait, no, that's in space. And a major hole like that, causing multiple ruptures, everyone on that base is dead. They even confirmed that a little later in the book. Now, this is the guy who survived the crash. His name is, he actually has a really long name. Let's see. I can't remember his name right now. But something. Oh wait, Aaron James Cruz. That's it. This like random girl that's in it, very very nicely drawn, but she is literally just a one-off character. So the people on the ship are like pretty much determining that what they did, like no matter what, they're not going to be looked at as the good guys in this, but they still believe it's necessary because they think like, what's called? They saw the ships, not the ships, the laser. The first one fired that missed the entire planet, and the second one hit the city, but it hit the outskirts of the city, not really like the city center. So not as many people died as they could have. So like, okay, I think these guys are just bluffing. I think this is some type of system thing. I think they're not as advanced as they're making it sound. So let's skip a bit ahead. Oh wait, this page I actually want to. This is the new crew. They got that, downward facing mohawk, shaved head looking chick. She's abrasive. She's yeah. Then, the rest of the crew. And Cruz here is like treated as a hero for surviving that, but like, yeah, he's more of a, what's it called? They treat him more like a cowboy than than an astronaut. I was like, okay, yeah, he does more. What's it called? He's more of a pilot than he is a scientist, but yeah, he's pretty smart. Let's skip ahead. This is what is this? I'm trying to do the communication thing. No. Him realizing, then like when the first ship realizes they're being chased. Oh yeah, and this is like I have to say, like, I pretty much I like all sci-fi, but this is really good because like they actually get, there's actually at one point where they get sprayed with micro debris, and it like cuts through a field of micro debris cuts through the ship, damaging multiple parts, and like that's an actual danger in space. Like a object the size of pretty much a grape flying, like depending on how fast it's going, like if you launch out of a airlock, that thing is pretty much a missile. It's gonna cut through whatever, and it could kill someone. Like imagine a whole seismic ray cutting through you at like 50 miles an hour. Maybe if you maybe don't die instantly, you'll bleed out quite a lot, and in low gravity, you'll bleed out a lot. But they don't do that in this book. But that is something I do think is interesting. So I'm gonna skip a bit ahead. Okay, this is the part where I was actually surprised. So these two are the pretty much main characters, and they're fighting. And what Cruz does is actually really smart. He's able to unhook his oxygen and throw him out in space. I'm like, oh, so he dies. And like he has like this kind of vision before he passes about his daughter. So I'm like, I think she might be dead. But he's remembering how she was not in the hospital. So the last two crewmates are like, okay, we're gonna fight him when he gets in here. But he's like, but he's not here for a bridge. He just cuts off the life support in the room and just goes in. Which I'm like, okay, this guy is really. Why fight the battle you don't have to? Anyway, so they think, okay, he's gonna like, help the other crew because that other ship is heavily damaged and they're like, they have maybe a couple days worth of air. And he's like, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna do the jump, like the FTL jump. Oh wait, I didn't say. The reason the planet gets shot is because they're about to enter FTL. So what they do is race to the edge of the system so they can do FTLs before the alien armada can react. So I'm like, okay. So then, like, he pretty much reveals that, like, oh yeah, that the two pilots that were in it, like Cruz and what's the other guy's name? Oh, Dyer. They kind of like in the explosion they kind of burn together and where they're collecting the parts and like kind of put them in like kind of regen cycle, kind of fuse them together and kind of fuse their consciousness. So it's like we're neither, we're both. It's like we weren't supposed to be. Actually, I'm gonna read this quote because I actually really like it. He's like, what the hell are you doing? Everyone believed what they wanted to believe. The hero of humanity, sole survivor, they had to believe it. It was the story they wanted. None of the science anticipated it. Cruz turned into a mist. Our DNA fused. Bits of Dryer, bits of Cruz. And it's just like, he's like, I was spared. We were spared for a reason. Our destiny was denied. The story of mankind was interrupted. It was Barry Dyer and Aaron Cruz who were meant to reach light speed that day, to achieve the impossible. That was our place in history, not as victims of a tragedy, but heroes in an epic. Now the past will be corrected and the future assured. And what comes next will be the beginning or the end. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? No matter where this ends, in this universe or another, we will bear witness. Then the back, sketches by Renzo Rodriguez, which, holy crap. I wonder if this guy does commissions, because these, like, every panel is just beautiful. And, like, the ship design, like, too many ships copy, what's called, Star Trek or Star Wars, mainstream, like, pretty much mainstream sci-fi shows. But these look really good. Like, really good. Like, these look like things that could someday be built. And, yeah, it's like the schematics of it, the Worldcraft, Lunar Base, that's what these ships are called. Like, beautiful. Nice Splatto comics. Now, I should have taken this out of the Mylar bag, but whatever, I'll just do it now. Not, I'll just make this a different video. Alright, that's all for this one. I hope you appreciate it, and for anyone who didn't order Impossible Stars, you missed out. This was quite a good book, and I listened to Comics Matters channel. The second one's being written, so I'm really looking forward to that. Alright, next video is going to be about Starblades.